Good evening viewers. Welcome to this telecounseling session. I am Uma Meduri from Faculty of Public Administration, School of Social Sciences. Along with me is Dr. Rajvi Sharma from Delhi University. Today we shall be discussing the nature of administrative responsiveness and the various initiatives that are being taken globally as well as in India towards administrative responsiveness. The concept of administrative responsiveness, which has become very prominent in recent times, it is the result of interplay of several factors, which primarily includes the bureaucratic inefficiency, the disenchantment of citizen with the bureaucracy, the increasing levels of corruption, and the citizen feeling neglected. And in addition, the impact of market forces of late has also given a new role to the citizen, where the citizen at times discharges the role of a customer also and influences or tries to influence the way the services are being provided to him or her. So it is because of the influence of several factors where it is becoming imperative that administration, be it of public or private sector, has to be really responsive to the needs of the citizen. The citizen now has rights and the citizen has become aware, and citizen tries to influence the way the service provider is giving the services. So now we have the situation of supply and demand of services, the service provider and the service user, and the roles and responsibilities and rights of each and every individual and the stakeholder in the entire process. Now gone are the days where only the government or the public used to enjoy the monopoly of service delivery. Now we have the market forces, the corporates and the civil society organizations and other non-governmental organizations which are providing or catering to the needs of the citizens. So the result is we have several stakeholders in this entire process of governance, and wherein the responsiveness of the governing system is becoming more and more important. Even if you take up globally also, there are various initiatives which are being introduced where the citizens are becoming a part and parcel and are really playing a very active role. So earlier the role of the citizen was only a passive or the mere recipient of the services. But now the citizen is trying to influence the way the services are being provided. Like for example, Britain has introduced the concept of citizens' charters, where the service provider, the various agencies which are providing the services are making the people aware about the services, the type and the quality of the services that are being provided, the redressal mechanism in case that a citizen is not happy with the services being provided. Like we have, India also has emulated this concept of citizens charter, and we have a concept, even Britain had experimented with the concept of citizens juries, where to elicit the opinion from the citizens about certain policy initiatives, a group of 15 to 20 members from the public along with eminent people, they sit, they deliberate, and in this way the entire policy making process is influenced. Even in India also now you find there are many shows, and even the newspapers and magazines also have a lot of impact on the way the citizens think, the citizens' views, and these are in a way the views are percolated and they really have an impact on the policy making process. We have an example of a civil society initiative wherein in India, wherein how the Right to Information Act 2005 has been passed, like how the efforts of an organization over the last 4-5 years has resulted in it. So now in this entire governance process we have several stakeholders. So all these attempts are being made in India also to bring all these stakeholders together in this entire process of governing and getting their impact. Like for example, we have the system of one-stop shops where the citizen, instead of going to each and every department, like for payment of any electricity fees, for getting licenses, like they approach these shops, and then they are called one-stop shops where they get all the services. For example, in Andhra Pradesh you have this e-Seva, where electronically, like these centers provide all sorts of services, and in Kerala also had experimented with the concept of friends, where the citizen approaches a center and gets the things done. So all this, it's an example of the influx of information technology also. So all this really is impacting, and we have experiment of involving the citizens groups or the community-based organizations and NGOs, like Bangalore, like the Municipal Corporation of Bangalore had experimented with this, where a few years ago a people's platform called Swabhimana had been formed at the instance of the then Municipal Commissioner, where representatives from various groups have been invited in this to get their opinion about how the public services, municipal services are being provided. And another important initiative had been the constitution of Bangalore Agenda Task Force, where you had representatives of corporates, because we all know that Bangalore is the place where there are so many multinational and IT giants working, and to resolve the condition, like the problems pertaining to the provision of civic services, to elicit their opinion, the government along with these representatives, they sit and deliberate on these issues. So now we find that gone are those days where only the bureaucracy was involved in service provision, and where the bureaucracy was in a way the sole decision making authority and taking decisions. Now the bureaucracy or the government has to keep the views of so many stakeholders in this process. So now we will move further from this, and then now I would like to ask Dr. Rajvesh Sharma about other initiatives or the strategies towards this administrative responsiveness in India.
Thank you, Uma. I think first thing which I would like to mention here is that earlier the responsiveness on the part of the administration was more a matter of discretion and charity with the government. Now the responsiveness is being claimed by the citizenry, and at the same time the citizenry is now being demanding more and more involvement. And as you rightly said, that there has been an IT revolution, and therefore the awareness levels of the people are increasing manifold. You raised a very important and pertinent issue right in the beginning, that it is a question of demand and also supply, and the ways the demands are met, the ways the supply is made. This is what is more important in administrative responsiveness. And therefore one of the challenges before the administration today is that the citizen is now asking for speedy delivery, speedy supply. He is not happy with the supply at the will of the administration. They want that the supply should be at the proper appropriate time frame. It should not be open-ended kind of a situation where the bureaucracy or the administration or the executives may decide on their own as to when the supply would be made. So one, that they are emphasizing on time frame, they are emphasizing on speedy delivery, and at the same time they are also asking not only for the speedy or time-bound delivery of the services, but they want quality of the services to be maintained, and quality should be ensured by the administration at whatever level it is. The rising expectations and rising aspirations of the people have further added to the demands on the administration. So there is a governance under stress. The administration functions under stress, and this stress on government and administration in fact has produced various administrative and procedural reforms to ensure responsive administration. Now this stress is being generated by the civil society, as you rightly said, that the stakeholders have now increased. And responsive administration in fact implies that all these stakeholders should be engaged in decision making, in decision implementation, in planning, and also in plan implementation. So development administration is now no more confined to the secretariat departments at the center or in the state capitals, but it has now gone down to the district level, to the division level, and even to the Panchayati Raj level. And therefore, Uma, I would say that the first thing which can be termed as revolutionary to ensure responsive administration is to transfer power to the localities. It is basically decentralized governance, which is considered to be one of the mediums, one of the instruments of responsive administration. And not only that, we through 73rd and 74th Amendment of the Constitution brought about this decentralized governance. We are aiming at bringing about change and development through the local governments. They should become the decision makers, and therefore we are taking administration much more close to the people. And we believe that as the administration goes close to the people, it would be more responsive to the needs of the people. They know where the shoe pinches, and therefore they would be able to make choices in accordance with what they require, not that it is being decided in some air-conditioned room. So therefore Panchayati Raj institutions have been given certain powers. In fact, if all the functions and funds are really assigned to the Panchayati Raj institutions, we have no doubt that Panchayati Raj institutions will become a third layer of India's federation. It would become a third step government in Indian federal system. Because 29 items is not a less number if it is really given. Unfortunately, the states are still hesitant in transferring and devolution of powers. And if you permit me, I would say that responsive administration in fact has been taken as the composite whole of decentralization, delegation, deconcentration to achieve the goals in accordance with the needs of the people. So therefore, what we are aiming through this decentralized governance is that cost-effective delivery of the services. Administrative costs, which were earlier very high, it has been stated at various places that to deliver a rupee to a person in a village, 3 rupees were spent on administration. So therefore, by giving powers to the local governments, we are saving that administrative cost. In a way, it also leads to the engagement of the citizenry. And I would also say that it would not only strengthen the democratic administration, it would also give rise to representative administration. And it is the political representatives who would be in a better position to take decisions. I would also like to quote one provision from the Constitution in this regard, that we have not merely added the 11th and the 12th schedule giving more powers to the Panchayati Raj institutions, but one very important change that has been brought about through 74th Amendment is to establish 2 planning mechanisms, one at the district level and another is at the urban local level, the municipal government level. At the district level, we have provided for the establishment of district planning committee. Now this district planning committee is a committee for the first time which would be over-dominated by elected representatives of the people. 4/5 of the members in the district planning committee shall be from amongst the elected members of the Jila Parishad and the municipal bodies in proportion to their rural-urban population. This is no mean achievement, and we have given rather much more power, and the representation of bureaucracy is confined only to, if at all of them are taken from bureaucracy, then it is hardly 20%. So therefore, we have given powers to plan and also to execute to the people's representatives. Similarly, at the urban local level, we have provided for Metropolitan Area Planning Committee, and they would be engaged. The two-third members of this area Metropolitan Area Planning Committee would again be the elected representatives, and therefore I am saying that responsiveness is being sought to be ensured through representative administration. So we are now saying that responsive administration in fact mean representative administration, and it is not always the complexities or complications of procedures which are hindering the responsive administration, but at the same time, if there is a lack of democracy and democratic behavior on the part of the administration, that also adds to the hindrance or the low implementation of the concept of responsive administration. Now this is one, that we are now trying to decentralize governance. And I can say that there are, and it is not merely the questions of planning committees, there is a provision for various development committees, beginning from village to the block to the district. And at each level, we are supposed to constitute different development committees in which the elected representatives will participate, and also the members of the society can be inducted. So that is another aspect of responsiveness, ensuring responsiveness in administration. Besides that, another very important, again I would say revolutionary step which has been taken in India is the enactment of Right to Information Act, which is popularly known as RTI. Now, why this RTI is a revolutionary step? Fact of the matter is that it enhances the competencies of the citizenry, it enhances the efficacy of the citizenry, it mobilizes the people to make the administration more accountable to them, and it can also ensure the economy in administration. At the same time, this also can lead to the reduction, if not elimination, of corruption to a large extent, because it would not now be open to the municipal officer to give tender to anybody. Now it would be open. Any person who has put a bid for any construction work can ask for the information as to what basis the tender has been given to one and not to the other. And therefore, if there is anything foul in the process, it could be detected by giving that information. This is one where accountability is being enforced, where corruption can be checked, and where there shall be some kind of a check on arbitrary behavior of the officials and public employees. This is one very important aspect of right to information. Another is that right to information in fact also raises confidence levels. As I said, efficacy of the citizenry is increased. They would come to know, if knowledge is power, information is power. And if the citizen is saddled with information and knowledge, of course he can question, and therefore it would amount to participation, it would amount to monitoring, it would amount to control, and also the assessment of the work being done by the administration, including their own representatives. For example, even in Delhi you have the local councillors fund for construction of various roads. So there is a local councillors fund, there is an MLA's local area development fund, there is MP's fund. Now where does that fund go? And therefore the common man also can go and ask for the details of the expenditure made. So neither the elected representative can take it easy, nor the bureaucrat, nor the public official can take it easy to spend the money the way it likes, and therefore I am saying that it would go a long way in curbing corruption and corrupt practices, and it would also change the mindset of the administration in the long run. The desire for getting money also perhaps would decline. So this is one, and it is not that again right to information is a time frame legislation. That means that within 30 days of the complaint, of the application, the person concerned, the public information officer shall have to provide information. And if it requires the collection of certain data or information from some other place, if say for example, if I want to get some information from IGNOU examination branch and it also involves some information being collected from the academic branch, then of course it can take 10 days more because it requires the third department also to be involved, and information may take time to come. Then within 40 days the information should be given. And if suppose the information is not given within the stipulated period of time, then there is a provision for penalty, and that is a good amount of penalty, 250 rupees per day, and it may be maximum 25,000 rupees. It means personal accountability of the officer is also fixed. It is now, he cannot take it easy. But all said and done, here I would like to strike a note of caution that, so far as this right to information is concerned, again we have to go a long way to make it really work and work effectively to the advantage of the common man. Firstly, we have found that there is still a lack of awareness how to approach, what is the procedure. This is not very well publicized, and therefore it is still confined to the urban areas more, and that too with some kind of educated middle class can take. But even if the RWAs can play a very important role in getting information, if not individuals, particularly of the money being spent on the development schemes in their area, and therefore group information can be asked. Even they can act on behalf of the single individuals or citizens. RWAs are more capable of getting information. But at the same time, besides that there is a lack of awareness generation, the bureaucracy also is trying to rather weaken the process rather than strengthening it. For example, the accurate information is not provided. Some kind of a mix without any clarity, a vague kind of answer is provided. So therefore, when the answer reaches the person who demanded the information, he cannot make head and tail of that answer. But he has escaped the penalty, he has provided the information, he has provided the answer to the person. So penalty has been escaped by that officer, whereas the person who wanted really the information has not received the required information. So he will have to apply again. If he wants something more information, or if he thinks that the correct information has not been given, then he will have to represent it again, that you have not given the required information. And in that process there is a delay at times. And the other thing which I would like to say in the right to information is that basically this right to information was enacted on the premise that secrecy leads to delays, and secrecy leads to arbitrariness, secrecy also leads to corruption. These were the three basic things. And if secrecy is removed, then of course we can win over these problems. We can deal with these problems. Have we really been able to deal with these problems effectively? Secrecy is still continues, and particularly there was a long debate between the Chief Information Commission and the central government on the issue whether the notings on the files of the cabinet can be made public. Until unless, of course, it comes into some kind of a domain where the revelation of the notings is not in the national interest, that is fine. But why should there be a withholding of information on who said what on a particular policy issue? So therefore, notings by the secretary, notings by the minister, notings by his juniors, they should be made public. It would make rather a more smooth relationship between the minister and the civil servant also. sometimes the minister takes the plea that it was basically the secretary who did all this thing and he was not aware, though it may not be admitted as a matter of fact, but common public will try to purchase this idea, and therefore that person unnecessarily becomes a victim with which he was not really responsible for. So therefore there is a need further to amend the Right to Information Act and to expand the information in this field, so that people are really able, and at the same time this right to information must be made more public, even in the rural areas, so that because it is basically the cutting edge. Even today the majority of the development policies, programs and projects are being implemented at the level of the district. A number of line departments are operating from the district, and therefore the public should really be in the know of things, how the district administration functions, which department is really responsible for what, and whether they are really doing the job the way they were expected to perform. So we must spread this message of people's right to know and people's right to assert, people's right to control, people's right to monitor in the rural areas, and particularly up to the district and the block level. That would go a long way. That is where in fact many district collectors have taken this issue of responsive administration at their own individual level, and they have called various meetings of the departmental heads to say that they must be accountable to the public and they must provide the services. But the fact of the matter is that responsive administration again and right to information again ensures that the interest of the server should not be given primacy over the interest of the served. Right? And if that is the crux of responsive administration, that interest of the served has to given priority over the interest of the server, then naturally it has to go downwards up to the grassroots level, where people know as to how to really proceed in the matter. This is one. Another initiative that has been taken, and for which you also had a reference at the beginning, that many states have introduced the concept of e-governance. And in fact, Andhra was one of the leading states which introduced the concept of a smart government. A smart where each letter stands for a particular feature of responsiveness: simple, moral, accountable, responsive and transparent. Now you have already given examples from Karnataka, you have given examples from Kerala, and therefore I would not repeat those examples. I would merely say that e-governance also is one of the techniques, one of the strategies to ensure responsive administration. If responsive administration implies time-bound action, if responsive administration implies quality delivery of services, if it implies the harassment-free delivery of services, so cut on time, cut on cost, satisfaction increase, reduction in harassment of the citizenry, and reduction in corruption are some of the basic postulates which are there at the mind when this e-governance or the concept of electronic government was introduced. In fact, what happens is that at times corruption takes place because of the interface between the citizen and the administration face to face, and therefore it gives an opportunity. If I am going to apply for a license, say for example in person, before the license inspector or licensing authority, there is always a possibility of some kind of a bargain. The licensing authority can tell me many things and may create awe, fear in my mind, may say that it will take much of time and therefore it would cost me quite a lot. So therefore it would be a motivation for me to give money. and motivation for me to give bribe to the licensing authority if I want to save my time and the rounds to the office, visits to the office. Now, if I can apply for the license online, then naturally I will not have to go to the licensing inspector for any purpose, and I will monitor the system of the movement of my file, movement of my application through internet. For example, nowadays, there were times when in the passport office there were long queues, and almost the entire day was lost even to get one application form. Right. Now a person can apply online for passport, and therefore he has not to go to the office, and he can do it right at his home anytime, whatever time is available to him. There is no exact pressure on his mind that I must take leave from my office and then go for applying for the passport. So therefore it relaxes the mind, it relaxes the pressure, and it also reduces the stress, and therefore in a way it enhances productivity of the person. Right? I am carefree and I am anxiety free, and since I am carefree, anxiety free to apply for the passport, and therefore I can concentrate more, focus more on my work, and at the same time I am saved of my time and also money. So this is one simple, very small kind of an example. Similarly, if you look at the land administration, revenue administration, this is another area where the e-governance can really play a very wonderful role, and particularly the upgradation of land records, the maintenance of land records, and the provision of land records. That will also provide much relief to the rural community, and particularly the land holders, whether it is small farmers or it is the marginal farmers or it is the medium class peasantry. Everyone would benefit, and there cannot be any kind of the misuse of power by the local account holder, the patwari or the lekpal, in the maintenance of records, because it can be detected on my computers. Now here the question may arise that, look, we are talking of e-governance without having the adequate infrastructure. So what is the use of talking of the e-governance when there is no infrastructure in the rural areas, nor there is an adequate infrastructure even in the urban areas? Every home doesn't have a computer, and if they have a computer, they don't have the internet facility. So how to really make the system work? And in this also it is said that the electricity is not there in the rural areas, and without electricity the computers and the internet can't work. So therefore, what is the utility of this? In this respect, I would like to say two things. One, that constraints should not be allowed to hinder the path of change. Rather, we should try to overcome the constraints, and that is what we are doing. In fact, it is being proposed that there should be chaos at the level of say a block or maybe a group of villages, and the electricity and road connections are being provided, of course, to the rural areas also. It is true that regularity of electricity supply is not there, but the Kisans know at what time the electricity is there, and therefore at the same time they can use their kiosk, they can go to the kiosk and make use of it. The question is the will, the preparedness, the awareness of the benefits. If I am not convinced of the benefits and I am not prepared to go, then of course nothing can be done. So this is so far as the infrastructure is concerned. And in the so far as urban areas is concerned, I agree that there is no provision of the computers and internet in each home, but there is a wide network of the cafes, the cyber cafes in the markets, and the cost of the cyber cafe surfing is also not very taxing. So therefore people can make use of it. Now let me again tell you that there are now so many taxes that are being paid through they are paid online, and whether it is electricity bills or the water bills or the property taxes at least. Now the information is also available how to compute your property tax. So therefore, the questions are that you are simplifying the procedures and therefore making the governance more inclusive rather than exclusive. Right. So this is again the process of responsive administration, that administration must be more inclusive rather than exclusive. And therefore, it is rightly suggested that responsive administration emphasizes on participatory system rather than the arbitrary system. And also giving more and more powers to the people, right. So this is one area where e-governance can play really a very effective role in ensuring responsive administration. Now, you were talking of Bangalore, but Bangalore is one area where the Bangalore Municipal Corporation has given a lead in e-governance. So, modernization of the corporations, the urban governance has been possible because of the e-governance system. Now, it is not merely corporations or the district level machinery. You will find that most of the information is now available online relating to various ministries. Now you can know, for example, which train is arriving at what time and which train is leaving at what time. So tensions are being reduced, and this is again a question of responsive administration, that you are working to reduce the tensions on the mind of the citizenry. So tension reduction is again a part of responsive administration, and the strategies that are being adopted include the e-information, e-governance on that issue. And now even going to the railway station and the booking counters is not necessary. You can get e-tickets, right, for both the railway journey as well as the journey by planes. So this has reduced, of course, the burden of time, money and stress and strain going. And if you permit me, I can say it is by a little stress, of course. I am stretching the concept, but more vehicles will not come on the road if I am just surfing the tickets on my own computers. So reduction of the crowds on the stations and on the roads. This is e-governance, therefore is now well accepted phenomena, and even the cargoes, the customs and excise departments are using e-governance for issuing various kinds of passes and other things. So it has led to reduction in corruption. This is what I am saying, and also increased efficiency in administration. It has also increased transparency and openness in administration. E-governance is an instrument of transparency. It is an instrument of also the openness. So therefore, there is no secrecy involved. If every information is available on the computer, then of course anybody can have an access and can proceed further. At the same time, we can also say that, as I was saying, that knowledge is power. This e-governance also has facilitated the acquisition of new ideas relating to governance, exchange of ideas relating to responsive administration. Now the academics and research can also be pursued through the e-system. E-knowledge, e-information is available on the internet, and therefore exchange of ideas, exchange of research is possible, and we can therefore reform the administrative systems, not by going to those countries and studying their systems there. Now it is available through the e-system or electronic system online. Now besides that, there is also another step which have been contemplated in India, though it has not yet been implemented, and that is the empowerment of the weak, particularly at the level of the state assemblies and the parliament. We have provided the participation and mobilization of the weaker sections at the grassroots level, at the urban governance level, and also at the level of the rural Panchayati Raj institutions. There is now a movement is gaining ground for speedy reservation for women in assemblies and the parliament, though the methods again are being discussed whether the parties voluntarily should give reservation or it should be statutorily provided by the government. There is a debate going on this. So weaker sections in fact have been given a more say and political mobilization is taking place. So therefore the gender bias in the society and administration would also decline. Again, I am not saying it would be eliminated, but there should be a sea change in the social and political culture so far as the gender is concerned, and ultimately the political class as well as the society would accept the equality of man and woman, which has been one of the major hindrances in the equal treatment of all in the eyes of law, and the prejudices and biases were faced by the women and the weaker sections. So this is what we have tried to achieve through various amendments in the constitution. Another step which we have taken is in relation to the institution of Lokpal and Lokayukt, and right since 1965 we have been discussing and debating, but we have not reached any final conclusion of this, and perhaps the politics is more behind this institution than, but still even the second Administrative Reforms Commission has talked about the necessity of institution like Rashtriya Lokayukt, and it has recommended that it should include in fact all except the Prime Minister insofar as the inquiries and the actions on the part of Rashtriya Lokayukt are concerned. At the same time, it has also stated that there must be some provision for confiscation of the ill-gotten property through corrupt means. So this is again a very important recommendation made by the Moily Commission. But even if the Lokpal is not there, we have the Central Vigilance Commission as one of the institutions working for dealing with the problems of corruption and of course the problems of misappropriation of authority by the concerned people. So lot of steps have been taken on this issue.
So that means this the entire thing of administrative responsiveness, it is very comprehensive in nature, and it brings in various elements of responsiveness, participation, accountability, and it just doesn't merely speak about changing the procedures, the system, but also gives, makes the citizen the kingpin of the administration, I suppose, where the administration in a true sense comes to the doorsteps of the citizens. But the entire thing of administrative responsiveness can be more effective if we keep in view the nature of the changing state, the society, the political system, and the cultural, political, social, economic rights which are enjoyed by the citizens. And also at the same time, the concept, the responsiveness and the accountability should go together, and the basic goal should be to serve the citizens and also make the citizens the partner in the entire governance process. I would like to thank Dr. Rajveer Sharma for giving such a detailed, in-depth analysis of this entire concept of the strategies of administrative responsiveness in Indian context. Thank you.
Thank you.